We're live. Hi, everyone. My name is
Hi.
Rajasingam. I'm from Toronto, Ontario. I'm a real estate agent, and I have Marty Pettiford here with me, and she's also a real estate agent. And
Hi.
yeah, and you're in Atlanta, and we're both in the same group here at EXP Realty, and we always talk about what it's like, and we have this commonality: the fact that we're both parents, we're both moms with very similar kids with similar age. And the reason I wanted to bring Marty into this conversation today we're going to be talking about moving with kids and moving with young children in particular is because Marty did a massive move into a brand new home, and it was a new build. So tell us a little bit about your situation, how long it took to get built, and when did you move?
So we originally sold our house in December of 2020. And we lived at that time in Savannah, Georgia, and we were moving to Atlanta, Georgia. So when we moved, our house, it had been under contract twice and it fell through like within the first 2 days because it was just a really long story, but we weren't under contract when we moved. So the day we moved in, and we moved in with my mom, me, my husband, my 3 year old, oh, he wasn't three then, my 2.5 year old, and I was pregnant with our daughter. The day we moved in, we got an offer on our house and we accepted it. Now, the caveat here was that we accepted an offer from a military family that was stationed in Korea. They weren't going to be able to close until March. So we had to go from January to March, just under contract, just waiting. So that was a very unique situation. So we decided, and actually, I was actually in the process of getting my real estate license in. So I didn't know Tharmila at that point. I had not
Yep.
joined EXP.
Yep.
So after we closed on that house, I think I got my real estate license, took the test and stuff like 2 weeks later. And that's when I, joined EXP. And that's when we also started looking for homes. And I think we found our home, this house in May. It was like under contract. I tried to, it was like under contract the first day it was on the MLS. And I asked the agent, oh, if it falls through, just let me know. Or if you have anything else, let me know. I'm interested. And he literally calls me back the next day and say, hey, they didn't want to wait till it was done in December. So if you want it, it's yours. I don't feel like putting it back on the market. And I was like, send me the papers.
Yeah.
This was my first contract. My home, our second home was my first contract as a real estate agent. And we knew it was going to be done in December. We had the date, and we followed the whole process. It was like 7 minutes from my mom's house, so we would come by every day. We knew what was going on more than the listing agent did sometimes because we were over here every day.
Yeah, I remember you were posting it all on your social media about it. For any of
we
you that wants to know what the progress was like, check out Marty's YouTube channel, Marty Loves Homes.
Yep. We did the whole process. What we haven't done the final version yet.
Yeah.
Because at first I wanted to do an empty home tour, but now I'm like, well, let's just get furnished and
Mm.
we'll do like a furnished tour. So I'm waiting to get a dining room table and finish getting like all the little miscellaneous boxes unpacked and but for the most part we're like all moved in. I'm here right now. So
And and are you so you are sleeping there right now?
yes, we've
Well, you
been sleeping
staying
here
there.
for like 2 weeks.
Oh, nice. Oh, so your children, everybody's there right now.
Yes, yep.
That's awesome. And I wanted to ask you, so in terms of kind of making the move, now that you got the paperwork and you're officially December, and I remember the excitement throughout. I can't believe, first of all, that you're here because I remember you telling me about it and us being excited to now, and even showing me pictures of what it would look like to just all
Uh-huh.
the process of just watching your social media kind of take place, and then now you're in it. It's just unbelievable, and it's
Yep.
a beautiful home, by the way. So I'm congrats, and I'm really happy for you and John, and for your children too, because it's such a really good space it looks like for them to play and kind of grow up in. And did you have a process, like did you talk to your children about it? I know you're Nile, she's little and she's a baby, so she's probably not going to know, but I mean she might, now she's going to have a new space
Talk to
to, I
her
guess,
too.
explore. Yeah. Well, your oldest is 3 year old. Did you, like, how did you have a conversation about the fact that you were moving and that you're going to a new space?
Yeah, well, before, since we were in the new construction progress and so close to where we were staying, we used to take them with us when we would go to the site, and we'd just be like, "This is going to be our new home.
Yeah.
These are gonna be your neighbors. We're talking about the cows in
Yeah.
front. I mean the horses. And and then when it got built and we got the sheetrock up, we showed him his room. And yeah, so it was a gradual thing.
Mm.
Then when it came to like doing the final walkthrough, we took them in. We're like, hey, this is your new house. This is where you're gonna be living.
Yeah.
So I guess he kind of knew. He definitely is aware now. And when we moved in there, he was like, he saw his stuff there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I explained to him, because while we were moving their stuff in, before we didn't have a refrigerator or our bed put together, and or a washer and dryer for that fact. So we for a few days after we moved all of our stuff in and out of storage, we were still with my mom.
Mm.
So he saw his stuff here, and
Oh.
while we were still over there, and I think it kind of clicked then. And yeah, that
And
was.
did he have what kind of questions did he have for you?
He's not really a question asker. He was, he's not there yet. What he was worried about was watching his Coco Melon,
Of
and
course.
like, as long as we had TV, and when we got the internet, it was like perfect. He was like at home.
Yeah. Yeah.
It didn't take him long to, figure out where everything was. He knows where his room is. He knows where his sister's room is. So yeah, he's very well adapted. I think maybe the first night we spent the night here, he was like didn't go to bed on time.
Really.
He stayed up
Yeah.
a long time before he actually went to sleep. But
I
he's
bet.
he's very adaptive, and he's always been like that.
Mm.
Even when we moved from our home that we he had been in his whole life, I think that was a bigger conversation that I cried. Like, we're leaving your first
Oh.
home.
Yeah.
I cried as we were driving away. I was
I
pregnant too,
bet.
but it
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
sad. It
Oh.
was sad. So I think we had a bigger conversation around that than like, hey, we're moving into our new house, because we had been talking it up for 6 months. So he
Exactly.
was,
I
he's
feel like
aware.
it depends on the age one and depending on the type of move you're doing. I guess naturally, and some kids are really curious and they'll ask questions. So I think it's, you want to bring the conversation up to them. You want to talk to them. You want to talk about their feelings. And I always talk about how many times do you want to ask your real estate agents to kind of bring the kids over.
Hmm.
And for you, you had a unique opportunity because it's not like a resale, it was a new build. So you had a number of different times you were visiting the house, so you could have gone and seen it. And we don't have that kind of luxury here in Toronto where we don't have just model homes and pre-constructions. You can't do that kind of visits because they're
Uh,
not quite, they don't start building them until some of the X amount of, allocations are sold.
uh,
So, right. So it's a little bit of a different, I guess for new builds, it might be a little bit different if you were to, I guess, house flip or flip your home or reno. You might have some opportunities because I was going to do a post recently about the fact that when Josh and I were doing a reno work on one of our investments, I was breastfeeding on the stairs while talking to our contractors because it's just had to happen, and that was the day we had to go down there. So sometimes I feel like you're put in situations where you just kind of had to adapt and go with the flow, and I think you
right.
just did that with your new home. And you're, in terms of space and packing things up, I guess, to come over to this space, did you have, I know your mom is kind of your nanny and helping you out, did you have a certain plans in place when you were doing the move?
Well, the bulk of our stuff was in storage, so we hired movers for that, and they did it when I was at work. So I don't know how I got here. It was here when I got here. So that was very helpful. And as far I'm trying to think, how did I do like the kids' rooms? I definitely packed it up because I wanted that to be the last thing we packed up.
Mm,
So I packed all that up in a day. His bed um, was brought over. Their beds was actually here before our bed was put together, because we had our bed out of storage. Like, we had a bed, but we
yeah,
were missing a piece. We were missing these little hooks, so we had to order them from Amazon. So we were sleeping on our mattress on the floor till they came.
yeah,
And then my daughter, we actually were trying to get out of this co-sleeping with her. So, I mean, she was where we were. She didn't sleep in her crib, even though it was like, put a room together. I got all these cute pictures from Target, a nice little rug. She still didn't want to sleep in there. We actually got her to sleep in her room for the first time the other night.
did they in your, like when you guys were at your mom's house moving to here, what kind of arrangements did they have? Did they all have each other's room, or did the kids sleep in one room?
So River had his own room, and Nile lived. She slept in a bassinet next to our bed. We had little
Ah,
bassinets, so it was like nice and compact next to the bed. But then when she got too big for that, we thought we were going to put her in the crib and transition her there, but she hated it. And the crib was in River's room, so 6 months. When she turned 6 months, he turned 3 years, and I have this thing in 6 months. You need to move into the crib. So he got his big boy bed when he turned 3. She got to transition to the crib, but she would always cry and scream and wake him up in the middle of the night.
yeah,
So
yeah.
we found out that wasn't a good idea. So we had to start co-sleeping then, because at that point she was too big for the bassinet and she would wake up and we would be afraid that she would fall. So
Oh,
she really just started sleeping in the bed with my mom.
really?
And yeah, that was her bed. Like, she loved it. And then towards the end, because the room that we were in was like, I don't even say it's so small, but the bed was small. It was a queen size bed, and it just wasn't big enough. So me and my husband would sleep on the sofa.
Oh my goodness.
Well, first we were sleeping, like, we would sleep in the same bed, but he was sleeping at the foot of the bed, and I was sleeping towards the top because we didn't have that much space.
Mhm. I
So
can relate.
yeah, so then we was like, "Oh, I hate the bed," because the bed was uncomfortable too.
Yep.
So neither one of us wanted to be in bed. So he was like, "I'm just gonna sleep on the sofa." So he slept. The sofa's so comfortable. He sleep on the sofa. I would sleep on the bed. Then it got to the point where I would just start sleeping in my mom's room because she has a nice king size bed, and I wanted to make sure the baby didn't roll off. So
Yeah.
she was in between us, and I would sleep with both of them, and he would sleep either on the sofa or on the bed. And that's what we did for literally the last month we were at my mom.
Wow. So it's going to be like a transition, them coming into this space then,
Kind
right? And
of.
I guess their sleep is kind of all over the place. Were they kind of on a sleep schedule?
Well, we were on a sleep schedule strictly with River when we moved. Before we moved, he would go to bed 8 o'clock, 8:30 at the latest. And then it got a little more lenient when we got here at my mom's.
Yeah.
It turned to like 10 sometimes. And now here we're just like, go in your room, close the door, don't come out. You can go to sleep whenever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now I got him, like, he's eating and everything. Now he's up in his room. I'm trying to get him to go to sleep, and if you can hear him, he's pitching a fit because he doesn't want to
Yeah.
go to
Yeah.
sleep.
Yeah.
He
Oh,
doesn't.
mine too. Right now, I was just like hoping that you won't be able to hear my kids scream. So I'm glad. I think Josh has it under control. And because I just wanted to also talk about, do you have any plans in place for them to kind of adjust to this new space? Maybe playtime in the backyard or having some sort of a routine in place so that they get used to the space, or you kind of going with the flow?
We're go with the flow kind of people, because it's so cold. It's not like Toronto cold,
Mm,
but
yeah.
it's cold compared to here. So we haven't been able to take them outside too much. And he was just my husband just got him like a toy, like a big remote control car that
Mhm.
they can use outside. So, but like I said, my son River, he's very adaptable. Like, it doesn't take
That's
him long to adapt as long as he has like his parents around, and it becomes familiar to him very quickly. My daughter, on the other hand, she doesn't know much, but she loves the space because she has so much space to crawl, and she likes
yeah.
exploring and climbing up. They both try to climb up on the fireplace, unfortunately, but
Yeah.
they like they like it around here. They have so much more.
Always the wrong place that they go to.
I know.
And it's like the toys, right? When you buy a toy, they like to play with the box instead of the toy.
Mhm.
So I hear you. And I also feel like, when it's funny you say this, you guys were sleeping in such odd arrangements. Honestly, same with me and Josh. Like, some days throughout the night, I'm sometimes sleeping on our bed, I'm sleeping in their playpen area. We have to get them this big. I'm not sure if you've ever seen it. It's like 70 by 80, like a big playpen.
Yes.
And then we put that now like in the living room so that they can kind of, because they had trouble napping. So now sometimes they sleep overnight through there. We have put like a thin mattress under, and so
Okay.
sometimes I would sleep on the couch, sometimes would sleep on the bed throughout the night. So I can completely relate.
Yeah.
And sometimes when they wake up in the middle of the night and just like, oh my goodness, or wake up at 5 in the morning. So I think, and we're just kind of adapting. And originally, before my second son was born, my son was in the den, and that was like kind of his little room, and that's where we
Um,
were sleep training him. And then now when we had our second, it was just all over the place, and now we had to adjust different space. And I think when we did that too, it kind of ruined we were off our sleep schedule, and we
Yeah,
were all over the place too. We would sleep at 10 p.m., 11 p.m., and then Josh and I were like, no, we're losing sleep because they would wake up in the middle of the night, and now I'm waking up sleep deprived. So we're like, okay, we need to kind of, and we've never sleep trained our second one, and I think he just adapted to just everyone. I think for
right.
my eldest, he was really hard because he's super excited and has so much energy,
Yeah.
and he's someone who'd be really curious and would ask questions about moving. And he even was like, he would point at the den and be like, and he'd be like, bed, bed. And he would ask for a crib, crib. And then so he knew that it moved. And we're like, no, sweetheart, we're not there anymore. We're here now. And then
Hmm.
so I think it, depending on the children, you just wanted to, I guess, speak to them more about it and talk to them. So that's why we, and the really the topic for anybody that's watching, the reason why we wanted to do something like this is because moving with young children can get super overwhelming, and a lot of it is, to be honest, is logistics. It's having the right help. And for you, you had a full-time job on top of that you were dealing with. And then so a lot of it was kind of thrown at your husband, or you have to just assign it to people like the movers and just try to be strategic with moving and kind of packing things up as you go, I guess. And luckily for you guys, you lived so close by, so that's really nice.
Yeah.
So
We
was it a gradual move, right? It wasn't just like one and
Yeah,
done.
it was a gradual. I mean, our stuff the day after we closed, all of our stuff was moved in, but we gradually moved everything else. Like from my mom, I still have stuff at my mom's house. I
Yeah.
just got my steamer over tonight, so I can actually like clean my floors. And my bathroom, like all my makeup and stuff, is still at my mom's house. And honestly, I'm just waiting for her to pack it up for me so I can just come and get it because every time I look at it, I get anxiety. I'm like, nope, I'm not doing this. And that's literally the last thing I have over there.
Yeah.
But one of the things I was gonna mention about that, like they don't, my son doesn't get up in the middle of the night, like as far as bedtime routine. So when he goes to sleep, he's no matter what time, he sleeps all the way till 8 or 9 o'clock. My daughter, she would wake up in the middle of the night to nurse, but now I'm weaning her, and because she's not a year yet, we're doing formula. So I'm making her bottle at night and trying to get her to sleep in her crib. And I failed last night because I took her out of her crib and brought her in the room with us.
Oh, I would too.
Yeah, but I forgot that it was, I thought it was like 5 o'clock. I thought it was almost morning, but it was 1. And I was like, oh, she'll just be in there for a couple hours. No, she was basically in there the whole night. But I have a plan for that now. And one of the biggest things, like, I guess logistically, was making sure that we had food for them to eat here. So we
Mm,
were in between my mom's house and here. So I had to keep her house stocked with food for them, because my son, he eats specific things, and she eats like baby food and little baby snacks. So I had to pretty much buy double
yeah.
to fill up both houses before we could, comfortably move in here because we couldn't be here without food.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And what about just entertainment and stuff? I know that you said your tablet is something that you get occupied. So did you take that with you so that they can watch something, or did you
Yeah.
have your TV in already, or books? Like, did you bring toys with you as well?
Well, we don't have all their toys here. Most of the toys are still at my mom's. We only have a few
Oh,
toys here, but it's enough for them to play because I actually had some stuff in storage, some toys in storage that he hadn't seen in like a year. So it's like new to him again.
sounds good.
My daughter doesn't have that many toys. I have it on my list to buy her some toys, but like I said, they're all my mom's, and they still go over there like 5 days a week.
Yeah.
And when we moved and we did not have internet, it was going to take a while for us to get internet. So we were like casting stuff onto the TV from our phones or screen sharing. And then his tablet does have like the cellular data. So he was able to watch Disney Plus and Coco Melon. But now we got everything in. Like they don't miss a beat when it comes to Coco Melon every day. So they're fine as far as entertainment is concerned.
Oh yeah, sometimes my tantrum breaker is just putting on like Bubble Moms or something quickly, like super simple songs or something to like quickly shut them
Hmm.
off from whatever tantrum they're having, or the house is gonna turn upside down because one cries, it's like a ripple effect, and then it'll affect Josh and me at the same time, and we'll both pulling our hair. So I
Yeah.
completely understand. And thank you, Marty, for joining me for this conversation and sharing your own personal, I guess, experience of just recently making the move. And this is your second time doing it. First was being pregnant and with a little one, and now with your two little ones.
Yeah.
And so I'm really glad that we were able to talk about this. And for anybody that's watching and you're looking into buying, selling, investing, making a move with your little ones, and you want to talk to myself or Marty, I'm in the Greater Toronto area in Canada, and Marty's in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah.
Feel free to get in touch with us. Even if you are moving moving from state to state, country to country. We do work with agents. We are part of a brokerage that we're globally connected to real estate agents across the world. So you could be moving from Australia, coming to Canada or Atlanta. Talk to us. We're happy to connect you with any of the real estate agents across the world and help you make your dream move as smooth as possible, and ask us all the questions. And really depending on the style, I guess, because sometimes Marty and I too, we go with the flow, and sometimes we kind of learn in the process. And there's some people that really want to learn, about what it's like to move with young children, especially if you haven't done a big, change like that for your family. It could be really overwhelming. So I completely understand. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Thank you, Marty, for joining me. If you
Thank
like
you.
this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel so that you can tune into more content like this. Marty and I, we've started this realtor parent series where we're going to be talking to different real estate agents and ourselves as well about some of our experience with just having children and navigating work life balance, which a lot of you can relate to. So feel free to tune into our content and ask questions if you have any. And thank you for joining us this evening. See you
Thank
next
you,
time.
guys. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Here goes now.
Yeah.